Hi, my name is Alyssa Barnes, and I will be sharing my American culture reaction video on my COM 263 class for GCU. This is going to be about the body ritual among the Nakirime, written by Horace Minor in the 50s. So after reading this article, I found that it was talking and relating back to it to the American culture in ways that it normally isn't depicted. Say, for example, they talk about witch doctors and medicine men, and those are basically for the American culture, doctors and dentists. They depict the dentist to be sadistic in a way and gaining pleasure by having to drill holes and fill holes in people's mouths. And the mouth and the body itself for the Nakirima is seen as sacred. It's also viewed as something that could be diseased easily and just dirty in a way. Something I found interesting while reading the article were the charm boxes and how they fill them with materials and magical materials, as they call it, that are supposed to rid the individuals of their illnesses and keep away evil spirits. And they believe that if the item was taken out of the box, then bad things would happen to them, all their friends would leave them, they would grow ill. Which for the shrine room, I found it to be relatable to the Mexican culture, and how during a certain point of the year there is something called a ofrenda built, and that is basically a shrine for everybody that has passed in your own family. And it's a shrine, so it's like a table with a bunch of their pictures, and it's filled also with their favorite foods, their drinks. So basically the past people are able to celebrate on their side as we are able to on our side. And another thing I found interesting were their views on how a person should be sexually. They determined that a person shouldn't be sexual and that there is a time and place for it to be done. And so this was looked upon as bad, especially when a woman would get pregnant. The pregnant women were given birth by themselves without any aid. And they also talked about women who, although it was bad to materialize, they would still go out to other villages and in a way sell their body without being touched. So, and to the American culture, this is viewed as prostitutes, because prostitutes not always allow people to touch them, but say, for example, like specialized dancers, they are performers, and I think that's what they were trying to say. Like, I also thought it interesting that they viewed all healing rituals to be bad, because they were making themselves worse off than when they were beginning, especially if they were to go into the special temples where they were to be healed. They stated, Minor stated that it was miraculous that people would walk out of the temple. And he also stated that people weren't allowed even in the temple without making special payments of expensive belongings before and after entering and exiting the temple. So this in a way could be viewed as currency for the American culture, because you can't go into a hospital without paying. Everything costs something. They also depicted the temple to be very different than in their everyday lives. One example is that the people who entered the temple were first asked to remove all of their clothing. Typically the body was viewed as sacred and nobody was allowed to see you undressed, or they were very hidden. Yet once you entered the temple, everything changed and it was viewed as a treatment for them. Something in my own culture that has a communication ritual to me is going to church every week, and by that you sit in mass and you pray, and you are with a big group of people just praying to the Lord and thanking him for everything that he has given you and everything he has done and will continue to do. To an outsider, this can be viewed as same as the temple ritual, where people would walk in, and this was viewed as something that wasn't helpful and more damaging in a way, whereas the people going in believed very deeply that it was helping them in the long run. This can be seen for my own culture as well, where people are believing in something higher than themselves. Well, how has this changed throughout history is that people used to view it as very bad, because it used to be like if you didn't do it, you were just satanic in a way, where in the article it was viewed as sadistic. And so this has changed. People have different ways of viewing things, and then this is beneficial to people because it allows them to believe in something higher than themselves and communicating with a higher being. Nonetheless, I believe that we need to remember that things are viewed differently based on culture, and that things are not always viewed the same or seen as important to one as it would be the other. And so we must remember that people are always going to be different, and although there is differences, there is still a sense of unity for us all to be together. And I overall think that the article depicted American culture as very interesting, because I've never heard it depicted in this way, but it was interesting nonetheless to hear how Minor viewed it.